Welcome to the 5th Alta Gamma Luxury Consumer Insight for 2012. I'm Stefania Saviolo, Director of MAFED, Master in Fashion Experience and Design Management of SDA Bocconi in partnership with Alta Gamma. We are here today to see what 2012 brought in terms of consumer trends with the MAFED group that worked and carried out the research about the luxury consumer on 3 markets, USA, Italy, and China. So we will see the confirmation of some trends that became consolidated in terms of consumer behavior, and we will also see new insights and new trends emerging in terms of consumption. So I leave the floor to the group, the MAFED Group 2012, who carried out the project, and I leave them to introduce themselves briefly.
Hi, I'm Francesco. I took part at this project as a support because I'm attending the last year of my Master of Science in Marketing Management. And well, this project gave me the opportunity to learn a lot, and I'm very proud to be here today with my wonderful colleagues. So I'm leaving.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Danielle Lesage-Rochette. I'm half French, half German, and I'm a MAFED student and took part in this research. I'm very pleased and honored to be here today.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm Eliana Guo from Taiwan, and this is also for me a very nice opportunity to take a part of in this research team.
Hello, my name is Stacy Oh. By ethnicity, I'm Korean, but I was born and raised in the USA. I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you.
At this moment, I would also like to thank our tutor, without which help this work could not have been made possible, Professor Saviolo and Professor Varaka, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. So I will, our presentation will follow this agenda. First, I will start by presenting the methodology and the objectives of the research. Then I will present the global consumer macro trends. Eliana will then take over with the macro trends related to each market. And finally, Stacy will present the field research and our conclusions. As you know, as each year, the objective of this research is to extract, categorize, and quantify microtrends from the international press in order to find tendencies in luxury consumers for Italy, China, the United States, and the global context. As each year, our work is divided in 2 parts: the content analysis, in which we read articles, find microtrends, quantify, group these microtrends to macro trends. And in the second step, the field analysis, we test our findings among store managers of Alta Gamma companies through interviews and questionnaires in order to evaluate the managerial relevance of the trends in luxury consumption and to build an evolution over the years. As you can see here, a brief overview of the content analysis over the years. This year we have found 1,072 evidences in 525 articles. Just as a reminder, an evidence is basically the occurrence of a microtrend previously defined that we will show you later. And as you can see also, we have segmented the microtrends in a quite detailed way, since we have 46, which is more than ever before. Here, an overview of the publications we used. As you can see, China was the most talked about market for luxury consumption in 2012. And as you can see, the Chinese press hardly wrote about anything else than China. This tendency was a bit more balanced in the other markets. Just to give you an idea, the 46 microtrends that we found, sorted according to market and to overall relevance, they are now distinguished according to to newness in this slide. Here we focus on the 18 new microtrends that we found. As you can see, they are pretty much localized. For example, plateauing and still gifting culture are Chinese only. Shame is back and the cross shopper are US only, etc., sorted according to color. And the two only real global microtrends we found were shopping with a click and experiential indulgence. As you can see also, we renamed 3 microtrends in order to make them a bit more appropriate for 2012. Secondary cities are booming, a Chinese microtrend only, was renamed from second to fourth tier cities in order to highlight the velocity with which luxury consumption penetrates China geographically. Gift giving was renamed to still gifting culture in order to basically show the crucial role of gift giving in Chinese culture, but also in luxury consumption, and to highlight the problematic that may emerge from it, that Eliana will explain later. E-commerce was renamed to shopping with a click in order to highlight the ever-increasing easiness with which luxury consumers are shopping. Here, the 28 older microtrends that you know from the last years, sorted according to color, green for 2011, orange for 2010. As you can see also, 5 microtrends were not to be found at all in press, so we cancelled them. Also, just to give you a brief overview, here the 4 most relevant microtrends per market. As you can see, especially in the special markets, Italy, US, and China, new trends highlighted here in blue are very relevant. So we can see there were a lot of changes 2012, and we will present them to you in 2 seconds. On the global, older trends emerged in 2010 are a bit more relevant. Here are all the trends explained. You can read them in the printed copy. As you can imagine, 46 microtrends are a highly complex paradigm to understand luxury consumption. So as each year, we group them thematically and according to content to macro trends, because it had been too fragmented to rely only on micro trends to understand the evolution of luxury consumption. As you can imagine, some micro trends are Chinese only, which is why Chinese-only macro trends emerged. Now I will just present you very briefly our 10 macro trends, since I don't want to anticipate on my colleagues. Our very new macro trend is the Chinese patrician, made out of 5 very new micro trends, and basically it depicts the increasingly fast sophistication of parts of luxury consumers. Then we have the prolonged crisis, which is an evolution of last year's never-ending crisis microtrend that shows basically the more negative trends within luxury consumption in mature markets, the USA, but especially Italy, who gained 2 new microtrends in this macro trend. Then we have evolved macro trends, which basically which have gained new micro trends in order to evolve in their meanings. We have mobile luxury consumption, which is Chinese only. It's the evolution of luxury consumption heating up from last year. Basically, it's about the booming luxury consumption in China in all its aspects. We have restart consumption, which is about the increasing luxury consumption in mature markets, Italy and USA. We have personal value, which is about the self-rewarding aspect of luxury consumption, but also the value consciousness of consumers. Then we have the new luxury choices, which is about all the new shopping options in terms of product categories or range preferred by luxury consumers. And consumer phygital engagement, which is basically the merging of last year's immersive retail experience and consumer virtual engagement. Since we found in press this year that basically it's all about the complementarity between the physical and digital world. and shopping experience, which is why it is called consumer phygital engagement. And finally, macro trends that you know very well, since they were present at least partially since 2010, the hero product, about the product as the key influencer of luxury consumption, from conspicuous to conscious consumption, about the tendency that luxury consumers now have to go back to the intrinsic values of luxury goods, and the gender and generation shifting, which used to be a Chinese-only macro trend, but since one of its micro trends have become so global and of such a global relevance, we decided to keep it as a global macro trend. Just to give you an overview of the frequency of the macro trends according to market, it is striking that all macro trends don't have the same importance and are not homogeneous at all in their repartition. One of the main challenges of this work, we felt, was basically to select what to present. If we had to present all macro trends for each market, it had become a 3-day seminar. So we really concentrate on the newest and most relevant macro trends globally in China, in the USA, and in Italy. I will start with the most relevant macro trend on the global level, which is the hero product. It was already very present in 2010. It has not lost its relevance in 2012. No surprises, timeless products of excellent quality are still very much sought after by luxury consumers. Sustainability is increasingly a trend, especially on the business side, and the aspect of uniqueness of a product, be it through its inherent creativity or customization options, are still very important. But interestingly, according to press, all these aspects seem to prevail above the power of brand itself. I invite you to read the quotes by opinion leaders and store managers in the printed copy. Then our second macro trend on the global level are the new luxury choices. This macro trend has quite evolved. Two very important micro trends have joined. The Sky's the Limit and Experiential Indulgence. We created the Sky's the Limit micro trend in order, because we found so many articles about the fact that the super rich, getting more numerous in number and more demanding, basically tend to really opt for the most exclusive and unique products out there, be it in haute couture, haute joaillerie, yachting, etc. Then we have experiential indulgence, which is about experiential luxury. Experiential luxury, the consumption of travel, spa, etc., was kind of a buzzword in 2012 since the Boston Consulting Group released a report about the subject, which was very much discussed in press. The Boston Consulting Group found out that 55% of luxury consumption in general are made on experiential luxury, and that this segment especially grows 50% faster than the sales of luxury goods. Obviously, it is very relevant in mature markets where consumers are getting older and not that interested anymore in really owning material goods, but it is also very relevant in China, as Eliana will show later, and especially among Generation Y, so younger consumers, who basically define themselves more by what they did than by what they own. Also, another quite important trend was the luxury investment trend. We found a lot of articles stating that the wealthy prefer to act as investors when purchasing luxury goods and prefer to invest in tangible assets such as antique furniture, rare books, wine cellars in Bourgogne, etc. No real new product range appeared in the new luxury choices micro trend, so I will skip this one. Now our third global macro trend, consumer phygital engagement. As I already said, 2012, it was all about the complementarity of the physical and digital shopping experience. Omnichannel is a key trend. It's all about the multiple touch points between business and consumers, online and offline. While, as you can see here, the pure shopping experience seems to have lost a bit of its importance on the global level. And also, social media communication was something we haven't found many evidences about, and even the few we found were pretty controversial. So some managers say that social media is very relevant to luxury consumers, but others basically say that it's just for aspirational ones. So we are very curious about how it will evolve in the next years. Our fourth and last macro trend on the global level is actually a micro trend, but since it was so talked about in press and has gained such a global relevance, we dedicated it the space it deserves. It's the male customer focus. It's apparently a trend coming from China, where male customers already account for 60% of luxury spendings. But since Bain & Company found out that last year male luxury consumption grew by 14% versus women's luxury consumption, which grew by 8%, it is highly scrutinized by brands and analysts alike. Some experts speak about a fashionization of male luxury consumption. This fashionization seems to be an evolution towards artificial obsolescence, which is already so crucial in women luxury consumption. And since they now invest so much in luxury goods, they want dedicated services, stores, just to satisfy their needs. And companies are already increasingly changing their strategies accordingly. So thank you very much. These were the global macro trends. Now Eliana will continue with the macro trends for the markets.
Okay, so now I'm going to introduce you the macro trends in the US and Italy. Okay, so first of all, since 2010, people started to purchase luxury once again, and basically restart consumption was an old trend found in 2010, yet still present in the 2012, representing an optimistic outlook of luxury markets in the US. And consumers felt more confident about purchasing luxury goods. On one hand, we can see that some store managers start to see that aspirational shoppers, they are coming back. And yet on the other hand, the crisis and unstable social or political situation lead to the shame of shopping in ostentation. For example, high net worth individuals are purchasing luxury goods in a hidden way, which is shame is back, the new micro trend that we found this year. So generally speaking, the US market is experiencing the growth since 2010. However, the prolonged crisis is also relevant that cannot be ignored due to the general slowdown of the economy and impact of for example, presidential election. They both have negative influence on luxury consumption. And then we have consumer digital engagement. This is also very relevant in this year, as our group member Danielle already presented. Compared to global market, the social shopping with a click is also very present in 2012. However, American shoppers, they strongly favor the shopping experience. As you can see here, we found many evidences. While compared to global markets, social media is much less relevant in influencing the luxury consumer behaviors in the US. So basically, the relevance of shopping experience and social media is the main differences between a global and the US market. And then we have personal value. This is the new consumer profile only referring to the American luxury shoppers, which appears in the press this year. Due to the economy uncertainty and the fragility of the restart consumption, people start to shop cross-shop high-end luxury goods and discounted goods. So basically, it's in order to fulfill the both practical and psychological needs along the way. And as for Italian market, as in the US, we have restart consumption and prolonged crisis. And basically, overall, it is very noticeable that Italian domestic market is also experiencing the growth in terms of luxury consumption, especially thanks to the support of the travel shoppers from the BRIC countries, namely offshore shopping that we found the most evidences here, the micro trend. However, prolonged crisis is still strongly felt in the Italian market. So basically, Italian consumers, they still purchase luxuries in a very conservative way. And so basically here, any Italian left there, which indicates Italian consumers have drastically cut their luxury spending, and now they buy more like necessary goods. And then we have no more cash. This represents impress this year. The new Italian cash cap not only has negative influence on domestic luxury consumption, but also on tourist consumption. Okay. Then we're going to introduce the macro trends in China. So basically, patrician Chinese, this is a new macro trend that we found this year, which represents a new consumer profile in luxury consumption in China. As you can see here, we found many evidences for the sophisticated consumer, which means some more mature Chinese shoppers have been through the phase of showing off, and now they're shifting from ostentation to more discreet and sophisticated purchasing behavior, and becoming more like a real consumers, and going towards characteristics of Western buyers. And secondly, we have plateauing. Even though now we all see the booming of the Chinese market, but some store managers, they saw a slowdown in terms of luxury consumption also in China due to global economic crisis and political bans on state funds for the use of bribery, such as sending some luxury goods to officials. And then social consumption is also the very relevant micro trend that we found this year. It's emerging along the way of evolution of luxury consumption in China. It displays the culture and social effects in China. Their purchasing behavior now is easily influenced by their friends or social groups that they belong to or they want to belong to. Sometimes it's even driven by a sense of competition among counterparts. And this year we also found very few evidences of make it local, which means some wealthy Chinese consumer, they want to buy some products with Chinese stylistic elements. Okay. So here we can see basically there's a complexity between some customers, they're now more sophisticated, but on the other hand, some opinion leaders will remain confident for the future of Chinese market. Okay. And then we have mobile luxury consumption. Basically, it's a macro trend which has been evolved from luxury consumption heating up in 2010. In China, luxury consumption continued to grow at an exponential rate. However, the composition of the driving forces is getting complex. And the emergence of mobile consumption leads to the shifts between tiers, city, countries, and product values. For example, here we can see the shift between cities. that basically the growth of the market is driven by new affluent people appear from second to fourth tier cities, and the rising middle class citizens that basically they tend to showing off. So again, it refers to what we talked about before, the complexity of consumers in China. And then we have shift between countries. For example, while most Chinese people, they favor travel shopping or arbitrage purchase in order to take advantage of weaker currencies in the US or in the Europe, or lower price. Some new affluent people also start to buy at home. As you can see here, we have some evidences on buy at home due to increasing presence of branded stores from secondary to fourth-tier cities. And there's also another point very interesting to be noticed. The still gift giving here is one of the most relevant trends found this year, evolved from micro-trend gift giving in 2011 and business giving in 2010. So basically, Chinese gift giving culture has still strong impact as an important driver in luxury consumption in China. And just to emphasize, gift giving is also the way for Chinese people to show their good tastes, and they belong to upper classes of social status. So basically it refers again to the social consumption. And here we have very few and maybe less relevance, the new trend, which is fake luxury. And then we have new luxury choices as Daniel already presented. Compared to global market, here luxury investments, one old micro trend found in 2011 is the most present micro trend found this year. And influenced by housing policy restriction in China, this year we found more evidences that Chinese people have more money available to invest in high-end luxury items in place of luxury real estates. So basically, for example, watches or jewelries remain the most appreciated items to be invested. And then we have experiential indulgence as the second important micro trend. As I mentioned before, some mature shoppers in China, they are more discerning and sophisticated in terms of purchasing behavior. So basically the consumption of these affluent and super affluent mature buyers are now shifting from owning to experiencing luxury, such as spa destination, hotels, and travels. And then the sky is the limit displays the ultra wealthy people in China. They simply daring in spending habits. So namely, they spend just for spending, they just want to spend money. And so they tend to pursue the Western affluent lifestyle, for example, yachting or private jets, because basically in China they don't have this kind of culture. And just to highlight again the complexity of Chinese consumers, for example, in some regions, for example, in Chengdu, Chongqing, ultra affluent individuals, they may have 3 or more yachts, but in a very hidden way, like very low-key way, while other affluent individuals, they prefer showing off that they buy this kind of ultra luxurious items. And it refers again to the what we talked before, the complexity of a sophisticated consumer and showing off and social consumption. And then we have gender and generation shifting. Basically, as already presented in 2010 and 2011, the gender and generation shifting is still quite relevant in this year. The purchasing power of younger customers with an average age under 45 years old is increasingly dramatically, especially in the first-tier city. Also, the surge of the second-rich generation represents a strong driving force for the luxury consumption They often enjoy the comfortable life and go through a much easier and obstacle-free path on spending. And moreover, we have male customer focus. It is also interesting to reveal that more and more Chinese male customers, they're willing to replenish their wardrobe. It has been estimated 25 to 30% growth in menswear in China. And then finally, there's a still noticeable but maybe less relevant in this year, the growth in increasing office or business lady who are purchasing more luxury goods more often, or they spend more than before, mostly for the incentive of self-rewarding. Okay, so the last personal value is a macro trend has been evolved from personal satisfaction in 2011. The interesting key findings here are self-satisfaction, the most present microtrend within the personal value this year, which highlights again the Chinese luxury consumption appears more sophisticated, as I mentioned before, and is shifting from simply showing off to satisfy inner demand, such as self-rewarding. And it is also interesting to notice that outlet potential was an old trend present in 2010. However, its relevance is rising drastically this year on the press due to the fact that more and more Chinese customers strongly influenced by American outlets. So, for example, when Chinese people they travel in the U.S., basically the outlet is the must-go. Because in the end, it is also due to the Chinese culture difference that most Chinese people, they're still very price sensitive in terms of purchasing. So basically, under this kind of circumstances of discounted stores, they feel more contented by taking advantage of price gap, and they're highly willing to buy more. So now I'm introducing you the macro trend comparison through the years. Okay, so basically in the US market, restart consumption has always been, as you can see here, a relevant macro trend over the years. People started to purchase luxury goods once again since 2010, but the shock of the economy still influenced the purchasing behavior of the consumers, causing them to purchase less impulsively. And as you can see also, the hero products was more relevant in 2010 and 2011. And however, its importance has been replaced by the emergence of consumer digital engagement and new luxury choices. As for the Italian market, people started to buy, as in the US, they started to buy luxury goods once again since 2010, yet the crisis has still been strongly present in these 2 years. And since 2011, the Italian market is only driven by offshore shopping by tourists, while the Italians themselves still limited their luxury purchases due to the economy downturn. And as in the US market, the hero product has completely dropped its importance in 2012, as you can see, and it was also more relevant. It was more relevant in 2010 and 2011. And the Italian market is also displacing the strong influence of the digital shopping experience and new luxury choices in 2012. As for China, as we know, the Chinese luxury market has always been accelerating its growth pace since 2010. And in this year, luxury consumption heating up has been evolved to a mobile luxury consumption, a new tendency of the mobile consumption. Together with the new micro-trend Chinese patrician, a new Chinese consumer profile of luxury consumption, it depicts the whole picture of complexity of Chinese market nowadays. For example, as I mentioned before, the showing off versus sophisticated. And surprisingly, G&G shifting basically dropped out of the top 5 and has been replaced by Chinese patrician and new luxury choices. So overall, according to our content analysis, in 2012, all the markets are experiencing the growth in different ways, such as restart consumption in the US and offshore shopping in Italy. And yet in China, the growth now lies in the complexity and the mobility of Chinese luxury consumption in terms of consumers' profile and behaviors. And later on, Stacy will show you the field analysis through the results of questionnaire replied by store managers in 3 markets in order to test the trend we found are relevant or not.
Okay, so we come to the final part of the presentation, which is a field analysis. I will be covering the confirmation of trends that the store managers gave, as well as the unconfirmed trends. And they gave some quotes, but I will not be covering the quotes, but they are provided in the presentation. So in the period of October to November 2012, we interviewed 4 Alta Gamma companies, of course in different luxury product categories. We received very good response. 104 respondents were store managers and 1 commercial director. The overall composition was 62% responses from China, 16% from Italy, and 22% from USA. The blue line, if you see underneath, is an indication of number of markets that has been researched, which has been consistent throughout the years, the Chinese, Italian, the US market. The red line indicates the number of brands that participated, which has gradually reduced throughout the years. The green line indicates the number of responses that we gathered, and which has been exceptionally high this year. So we will go to the in-store relevance of the trends. First off, Italy. To start off with, to briefly describe, the icons here have the macro trends that we found in the articles. Of course, the size of the icons differ by the number of evidences we found, and we correlate the responses with the store managers' responses to the macro trends. To start off with, for Italian market, the prolonged crisis and the restart consumption actually go hand in hand. The crisis is still evident for the Italian market, as much of the store managers told us that a lot of the regular Italian customers who have been shopping at the stores have largely decreased. However, this consumption has also been restarting by the foreign tourists who are coming to Italy for travel shopping in some cases, or they're shopping while they're traveling in Italy. For the consumer phygital engagement, many of the store managers mentioned that the in-store service is very crucial and vital to the customers, as well as visual merchandising and online communication has had a very positive effect on the final purchasing of the consumers. The personal value is actually a trend that is more attributed to the Italian customers, as the Italian customers have more focus on the value itself than the foreign consumers. And the conspicuous into the conscious consumption has not been wholly affirmed by the articles nor the store managers. However, the Made in Italy fact has been affirmed by the store managers, saying that it's a very critical and still a very relevant, important factor for the consumers making the final purchase. These were the unconfirmed trends in Italy. Many of the store managers actually did not see a ratio change between the men and women shopping in the stores. Also, sustainability wasn't a final decision factor for the consumers to purchase the luxury items. And the new luxury choices actually could not be tested, as this trend discusses about experiential luxury and hyper luxury. And the store managers we interviewed were managers of traditional luxury stores. And these were the quotes from the store managers in Italy. And moving on to USA. Okay. So much like the Italian market, the restart consumption and prolonged crisis go hand in hand together as well. The crisis is still evident for the US consumers, on top of the social activist group like the Occupy Wall Street, who are actually hindering the wealthy people from consuming, as well as the upcoming presidential election, which is actually today, which is making a lot of the wealthy people conserving their money from luxury consumption. Of course, in the market, the restart consumption is also fueled by the foreign consumers who are visiting America. Most of the store managers have mentioned that on average it's 70% foreigners and 30% locals who are shopping in the stores, and due to the fact that these stores that we interviewed were in very highly metropolis areas. The consumer phygital engagement is also a very, very important factor for the US consumers, as actually they have a lot of interaction with the internet, and 44% of the store managers came in saying that there are a lot of consumers who are requesting for products that they have seen online. So you can see that the online platform and the physical platform actually don't cannibalize each other, but they work in a synergy together. And the hero product, the store managers actually saw a stable trend in the limited editions and the customization made to measure area, but they actually saw an increase, a very, very high increase in the timeless products, the reinterpreted iconic products that the brands are known for. Oops. Okay, and we come to GNG shifting. This trend has also been only partially confirmed, as the managers also did not see a wholly difference in the ratio of men and women shopping. However, they did confirm that of the males that are shopping in the stores, like from their regular customers, they are shopping much more frequently, and they are showing interest in accessories and other areas that they have not shown interest in before. And these were the unconfirmed trends in America. From the conspicuous to conscious consumption, we saw that 81% of store managers responded that a lot of consumers are coming in looking for logo products. However, this refutes the micro trend of understated consumption that we saw in the articles. But we also need to keep in mind that the consumers who are coming in to purchase these products are actually foreign consumers more than the local consumers. So it has more of a foreign influence. And the new luxury choices also could not be tested for this market. And these are the quotes. And moving on to China. So for mobile luxury consumption, the Chinese has actually ranked as #1 for USA and Italian market as the #1 foreign tourist consumers. However, they're actually increasingly buying at home despite the taxation influences that the Chinese government is imposing on the Chinese people. They are traveling to the second or first tier cities in mainland China to purchase their goods. Also, there's a Chinese patricians who have showing an increasingly trend in discreet consumption, not trying to buy things that are too ostentatious or too showy. Hero product has been stable, and new luxury choices also could not be confirmed for this market. The consumer phygital engagement and conspicuous to conscious consumption actually go hand in hand. Most of the Chinese consumers actually have a very, very high focus on the in-store service that they receive from the stores, especially repair service or different kind of like CRM that they receive from the stores are very vital for their final purchasing. And they also have a very, very high knowledge about the products because they invest a lot of time into the internet researching the products, about the product quality, how it's manufactured, the materials that are used for the products. And due to this, they have a very high influence on the online and the digital media. Oops. And once again, GNG shifting was not confirmed by the Chinese store managers. They mentioned that they also did not see a difference between men and women shopping in the stores. So women clearly far exceeds the men shopping in the stores. And these are the quotes from China. And I will briefly go through the macro trend comparison throughout the years. So as you can see in the Italian market, restart consumption has been prevalent in 2010, 11, and 12. It has actually gone up in 2012, possibly due to the foreign consumers coming to the Italian market to purchase the luxury goods. Once again, the prolonged crisis and restart consumption is actually both prevalent in the Italian market. However, the consumer phygital engagement actually acts as a bridge between these two macro trends because a lot of the customers are exposed to the internet, they use a lot of the digital, a lot of the media, and despite the crisis that they still cannot purchase, they actually are still engaging and communicating with the brand through the digital media, and it actually brings them into the store, and it actually sometimes leads them to the consumption of the products. So this is a very important trend. again, throughout the years, the unconfirmed trends was the male customer focus that store managers did not see a lot of males shopping within the stores. In the USA, restart consumption and prolonged crisis was also prevalent in 2012, and restart consumption has risen in 2012 as well. The consumer phygital engagement is once again a very important vital factor for the consumer's purchasing. The hero product has actually lost its luster throughout the years. It's not so because the American consumers don't think the features of the hero product is not important. Actually, the features of the hero products, which is product quality, timelessness, customization, is actually features that they take for granted, and that's why the customers actually want to be reached out to the digital platform. And even in the US market, just like the Italian market, the male customer focus has not been confirmed. In China, there has been an ever-growing consumption of luxury throughout the years, but it has peaked in 2012 where the Chinese consumers are traveling more abroad to buy their luxury goods. A very important macro trend to observe is the Chinese patrician, who are the mature luxury consumers who have a very refined Epicurean taste in luxury that wish to distinct themselves from the middle class who is now emerging to buy the luxury goods. So they want to make a clear distinction from them to a separate group of their own. Once again, consumer phygital engagement, very, very important, as the Chinese consumers spend a lot of time online researching about products before making the final decision. And once again, for China market, the unconfirmed trends throughout all the years was the male customer focus. And we come to a conclusion. Basically, we noticed that two very important trends were common for all three markets. It was a trend of general growing luxury consumption. Of course, for the US and the Italian market, it's the foreign consumers who are actually doing all the consumption, well, most of the consumption. Whereas the Chinese market, it's more the Chinese consumers who are consuming most of the luxury products. And the consumer phygital engagement, where consumers wish to interact with the brand and the stores through the web as well as the store. On the contrary, as I mentioned before, the hero product has lost significance through the years, and as I mentioned, it's because consumers now take these features for granted, and they wish to interact with the brand through a different platform, not only the product itself. And as you have noticed, that the G&G shift, such as the male customer focus, has not been confirmed due to the fact that this is more of a qualitative research method. If it was more quantitative, there could maybe be a difference, but we don't really think so. And yes, that's it. We're done.
I believe this presentation was very effective, and in particular, I believe that the analysis has been done in a very effective way. Not just we have consolidated the methodology of analyzing the microtrend in the press and comparing the evidence of this part of the analysis with the point of view of the store managers. But there is a very rich, you will find a very rich series of quotes from the people of the industry, insiders of the industry in the different part of the world. And I believe that this is a valuable part of the analysis. In general terms, I would say that also this analysis confirms that what had been the forecasts of the Alta Gamma Consensus Forecasts 2012 on the quantitative part, but of course the qualitative analysis is much more interesting and effective. I would like to draw your attention on the fact that 105 respondents among the Alta Gamma member companies, covering all the three markets that are taken into consideration, into analysis, Italy, the US, and mainland China, has been for the first year a very important goal. And of course, I would like to remind everybody that in the reserved part of the website altagamma.it, you can find not just this video, but also the report. And I would like to invite a larger number of Altagamma member companies to take part next year to this Altagamma Consumer Insight study that is going to be one of the pillars of the knowledge we have on the final consumers. I would take the opportunity of thanking again the analysis team and Stefania Saviolo and Paolo Varacca, who coordinated the analysis. Thank you very much.